This is the project we got going on here today. As you can see, these here are cracked. Only thing holding is just that little sliver right there. This other side right here, you can pull it right off there. So got a lot of welding to do on this today. I'm gonna I'm gonna cut all this out here with a torch, get all out there, get it ground out, V it out real good so I got something to weld onto. I'm gonna V all that out as well. I'm gonna grind all this weld here down. Like I said, somebody's put a plate in here before in the past. Like I said, this piece here, only thing holding this side here was just the boat there. That was the only thing holding that up. But I'm gonna get all my stuff here lined out, get my whole get my torches out, and then get my welding leads out, and see if we can't get some of this stuff cleaned up here. I mean, you could take a grinder and grind it out if you wanted to, but as much it's on there, I can just take the torch to it and grind all that down real good. But take a torch and cut it all out real good, and then I'll grind it down, save on some grinding wheels. So let's get the torch out and get this thing all cleaned up and get the weld back together so we can get skidding some logs. Okay, well, we took the torch here and cut all that access off here. I gotta get the grinder and finish grinding the rest of that up. Like I said, that's how you can see how somebody cut out with a torch before and did all that there. And like I said, I got all this here grinded out. Like I said, I'm gonna take the grinder now, I'm gonna grind all that stuff out. But the reason I got it deep gashed the way that I do is just so I can get way inside there, because I'm going to build every bit of this back up. You can see how little cracker is. Like I said, I'm gonna take the grinder and clean all up right there. I might take a torch and blow a little bit more of that old weld stuff there off, get that all the way. As you can see, push this here all back together. You can see how I grinded some of that down, but I'm gonna, like I said, every bit of that be all filled back in with weld. Then I'll grind some down. Like I said, you gotta V it out like that just so you can get, you know, better penetration down inside the metal. If you just butt them together and weld them together, it ain't gonna last long. It'll just break right back up. You gotta have some kind of penetration down in there. So like I said, the other side's fine. I don't know why this side here's you know, always broke, but this side here's seemed to held up pretty good. I don't see no cracks in it. I think somebody just wound up putting that on there just so they wouldn't have to worry about it cracking like the other side. To kind of reinforced it. I haven't really looked into it to see if that's a bad design, or, you know, anybody's had any problems, you know, with that breaking any other times. So I'm gonna get my welding leads here hooked up and see if we can't get this all welded back up and get him back up and going. I forgot my damn safety glasses, and that's the last damn pair I had, so I just had to use this helmet here to get it done. Also want to make sure when you're welding these two pieces together like this, you also want to make sure you put the pin back in there, because if you don't, you got this one cocked this way or this one cocked that way when you're trying to get them back together, because this side here it was broken completely off. So you want to make sure you put the pin back in there. When you get the pin back in there, then you want to just tack weld it here, tack weld it there before you take and just weld it up, because if you don't get that exactly right, it'll be a pain in the ass to get it back out, and it'll just wear the bushings. There's these little bushings and brass bushings inside here, right inside here, that like I said, they won't last no time, being too much pressure, too much of a bind. So let me get my welding rods out here, and I'm gonna get this thing, like I said, get it all tacked up. I'm gonna do a little bit more grinding on it right in here, clean this up. But like I said, I know it's pretty good and gashed in there, and a lot of it is not just because of where I took the torch to it. A lot of it is from where, like I said, whoever's welded on it before multiple times, that it's they burned through it, and like I said, somebody put this piece of plate on there in the past anyways, and like I said, there's a little bit of a gap right in there behind it. But like I said, I'm gonna weld all this back up, and then I'll grind it down, and I'll keep welding in there. Like I said, I'm gonna weld all these gaps up in there, because like I said, that's the only way you get any penetration, is if you get inside there and weld all it up inside there, and then beat the slag off of it, and then come on this side and weld a little pass on this side, weld a little pass on this side, and then beat the slag off, and then weld one good beat in the middle. That's what I'm planning on doing. So let me get the welding rods out here, and I'll get my phone set up and see if we can get this thing fixed. Probably hard to hear me because I got the welder going. All my welding rods, I keep them behind the seat just because they stay drier in the truck. Not saying my boxes leak or anything, but just seems like condensation gets built up in there, and seems like they don't hold up as much. I've had them get rusty, and then the ends and everything start breaking off of them. Get a spot for my ground. Make sure you always take off the battery disconnect on these two. If they got one, if they don't got one, just take the positive wire or the ground wire, whichever one you want to, on the battery post. These new ones with all that electric stuff on there, I don't want to take a chance on burning something up, tearing a computer or anything up. If you wonder why I got two different gloves, this one's real thick and this one's skinny. This is the one I hold my hand with when I'm welding. This one right here is hard to grip stuff, so I usually just this when I'm touching hot stuff. I'm gonna go and get it tacked up. I got my welder set on about 115. I'm gonna see how hot that gets it. Metal's pretty thick, so I should be just fine. got all that tacked up, I'm probably gonna put the pin in there now. Or take the pin back out, I should say. I'm gonna take this pad off my grinder. Always just use this wheel like this right here when I'm grinding or when I'm welding. I'll beat the slag off of it, or just take this right here. It'll take the slag right off there. It makes it way easier. can see, I've already welded all that right there up on this side, but I gotta do every one of them like that. All around these corners, all that back in there, all that around through there. So I'm gonna get all this welded up, and I'll show you what it looks like after I get it all welded up and get the pin back in there. Okay guys, well, we got it all welded up here. Got right there welded, all that in there. All that's welded up pretty good. Even got the side here, got it welded up. Like I said, I'm gonna let it cool down, get some grease in there, and like I said, get the pin back in there. There's really not a whole lot you could do with, like I said, I'm sure as much pressure that goes inside here with them big cylinders, squeezing those logs, I'm sure it'll probably break again. Might need to see about getting a new set of getting a new one of those arms, or just taking it all the way off and taking it back to the shop. But these welds here are way better than what was on there before. Like I said, I ain't the best welder out there by no means. Like I said, I just try to get the job done, try to do as best I can. Like I said, I got it all welded down through in here, and on this one right here, I wound up welding it over like this, and then after that there, I beat it this way too, trying to double force it with the weld. So I'll get the pin back in there and make sure it still slides good. I'll put some grease in there because all the grease is done dried up from where I've been welding. But yeah, let me get the pin back in there and get this guy back up and going. Okay guys, well, we got the pin back in here. I get some grease in there, but everything's done. Like I said, you can see I got more grease in there. Put the bolt back in there, got all that stuff there squared away. Like I said, this is a John Deere Skidder 648 is what this is. See how big it is. So, well, like I said, this job here is done. Like I said, I put some grease in that other side over there. That cylinder right there is starting to leak pretty good. I seen it had a little bit of a drip underneath of it there. Probably to wind up getting that repacked before long. But yeah, everything turned out pretty good. Get it back up and going and see how long it lasts. Thanks for watching.